All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Welcome to Kings and Heroes on YouTube and Twitter and also on Instagram. We are trying a dual stream. So we're going to see where that goes, right?
That's right.
And we're here actually going to be talking about MoonKnight. So for those that have not gotten to see MoonKnight yet, spoilers ahead. This will be a spoiler-rich show because honestly, we can't really get into the details on it if nobody has really seen the episode. So don't sweat that.
Yeah, because there's really not a whole lot to say about this episode. But I mean, besides great things, it was really good. But we haven't seen too much yet in this series, so we're gonna just kind of just bounce back and forth of what we thought, what stood out and all that.
Yeah, and so it can't get really too spoiler-rich because I can say too, what was one of the main things that I did like about this episode was the fact that pretty much everything we had seen preview-wise was what we saw in the first episode. I don't feel like we were screwed out of a bunch of spoilers for the rest of the season. Like you couldn't really tell where things were going.
Yeah, and that's what I like about that too, because it's not just about throwing in a bunch of people for cameos. That's unless the story's going somewhere. But because again, you and I talk about this all the time, that Marvel needs to take their time and really develop each character that they throw in for a solo series or movie, because there has to be some kind of balance. We don't want like 80 characters on the screen. I mean, that would be cool, kind of, but at the same time, it can be overwhelming. So
it absolutely can be. Yeah, absolutely. I think in my mindset that what I do feel like lessons learned from a lot of the Disney Plus shows have been taken into account. I feel like we've got some great opportunities really kind of coming as far as things go with these next few episodes to see something a little bit more better paced, because like what you and I ran into with some of the other shows that had more episodes, we were just kind of like, wow, filler episode. Like remember like with Loki, we were just like episode 4 and like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like right there before the end, it was just like there's going to be too much that has to happen now in that last hour. It's just, I felt like Marvel had a problem with pacing, but I'm hopeful that this changes that dynamic. I feel like we have the opportunity now to see that dynamic begin to shift.
And I agree 100% because the pacing in these other shows, even WandaVision, there were some slow moments, but which is still a great show. But overall, with pacing, it's in Marvel. It seems like in Loki, there are some points where they were dry, and it's like, is this really going to affect anything in the MCU, or like where are we going with this? Or are you just telling a love story? Like where are we trying to connect to? We just still felt disconnected, right? But now I think with this show, MoonKnight, I think that if you can grab someone's attention over and over like that with each different scene, then that's the pacing in this show is just excellent. So I think if you can do that, and not with every show necessarily, just in some moments, then you can have a successful show.
I agree, and want to welcome everybody. Hey, hey Moonlit, hey Fresh Princess on on YouTube. Hey everybody on Instagram. Hey 22 Comics. How's it going? Good seeing you. Comic Book Curious. Good seeing you too. Like I said, we're talking about MoonKnight, and Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor. Honestly, can't say that I haven't gotten any feels from him acting as far as things go. And he's a beautiful man. He's a great actor. I can see a lot of that, Ewan McGregor kind of vibe in some way, as he just has that strong character type that can be both adorable to the female audience and strong, and to the male audience also very gregarious, outgoing, masculine to that kind of angle. I think it's been a fantastic cast so far. It's the first episode, right? So we're just starting out. So I'm pretty excited to see where these next parts go, because we really established his more, what's the word I'm looking for, lesser ego as far as his two characters. I think wasn't it Steve? I can't remember.
Yeah, Steve.
Steve. And number one, first of all, I want to punch that lady in the nose that he works for, because she is awful to him. I mean, she is the worst. Like, she makes Michael Scott look like, like management person of the year, because she's just so rude at all times. She says the meanest shit to this poor guy, and just like, oh, you're stupid, or you're terrible at this, that, and you shouldn't even be here, and stop trying to better yourself. It was so awful. Man, if there's people like that in the world that have ever managed anybody, I am sorry, because that's terrible. But I'm.
A lot of people that complain about 9-to-5 jobs and stuff, it's just like, well, because their bosses or whoever are not the best people, and they don't know how to treat people well. So
this person's not the best person. This is the worst person, period. Hey, Moonlit snuck over here from YouTube. Thank you, dear. Good seeing you. I am of the persuasion and the opinion on this standpoint that we have much more to come in this series. But as far as the establishment of these two personalities starting to intertwine, right? That was the major part about this. This was about getting those characters together and having them meet to start to have this conflict as far as things go. That was where the show finally kind of started to hit a pace of interest for me. Khonshu was pretty cool. I did like the fact that we saw, because he was always a bird, because that's how he flew the moon across every single night, life cycle as far as things would go. So Khonshu was always a bird, and traditionally, so them turning him into like a skull was pretty dope. I did like that. But yeah. Overall, great first episode. I think it started off very hot.
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up, the very beginning of this episode, because I think that what this show did differently besides pacing was that it brought in that Egyptian culture, which kind of they talked about a little bit in the beginning, just like where things come from. Armanet, one of the Egyptian gods. Maybe that might tie into some stuff with, I don't know, later on, King the Conqueror and stuff, because we already know that he's in this universe. But I mean, I don't expect to see anyone out in the show as far as, cameos. And if we do, it might be like an agent or somebody, I could be wrong. But with the Egyptian aspect, I like how they kind of tied on that, because it's not only realistic in real life, but it ties to other parts of Marvel. So I think that Marvel itself is trying to tie onto this ancient Egyptian aspect somehow. But I don't know. What do you think?
So for what I remember, Aramet is the Egyptian god that would essentially eat the damned souls after Anubis says whether or not they are good or bad souls. So Aramet was the beast that would ingest those. But it sounds like Aramet has skipped Anubis at some point, right? Because all of a sudden she's using the other character, and I can't remember his name, and I apologize, but she's using him to essentially judge, like Anubis would get to, so she can just get to getting to these souls right away, right? So in my mind, there's some kind of struggle with the gods, because at the same time too, Steve identified the main character. He's like, there's 2 that are missing. Like, there's not 7, there's 9. There's supposed to be 9 gods here. And I'm wondering if there's been something that's happened to Anubis. I'm wondering if something happened to Anubis, and that is the reason why that she is actually judging and taking these souls directly, more directly. Yes, yeah. Harrow seems to have replaced Anubis. Absolutely, Moonlit. Absolutely.
100%. So I think there's a lot of ties to just what they're going to do as far as their stories going back and telling those prequel parts of why it could be important going forward in the MCU. And maybe MoonKnight might be a staple for this aspect. We don't know yet. But one thing that's interesting about this episode is this personality. So I just want to talk about this because what I'm noticing is that I think Marvel right now in the MCU, since they introduced Moon Knight, they're tagging on his whole different personality aspect, right? Cool. But it's not just that. It's the fact that by the time that we reach the end of Moon Knight, what I think what happen is that he will officially dismiss all his personalities, destroy all of them, and then finally become one, which would be, Mr. Knight. And just like how they did in the comics or something like that, or they could either keep him around and just make him do something with Mr. Knight later on. But again, we don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's possible that could be a resolution at the end to this, where the personalities have to kind of unify to get Mark through this, because not one of them can do it alone. They need all of the personalities to really kind of come together to create Mr. Knight to conquer whatever it is that we're going to run to at the end here with Harrow. I do see that 100%. But I also see, depends on how much those personalities endear to us over this season, whether or not it's permanent. Because if it works, Disney's going to be like, yeah, we're going to bring back Steve. Everybody loves Steve. Nobody liked X, Y, and Z, so we're going to keep this person.
That's true.
I love the pace. I love the intensity. The history has been fun so far, because it's been very light, granted, but it's been fun. I'm really interested to see where the series is going, more so than I got a first episode vibe from almost every single one of the other Disney Plus shows so far. Some people complain that it's a bit of a miss. Some people complain that they didn't necessarily like this kind of pacing to it. It was a little bit more intense, kind of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was when it started. That started off a lot faster than WandaVision. However, this is a little bit of a mix between the two, in my opinion, because this is going to be very deep on exposition as far as things go. And it's going to be, though, because it's Moon Knight, it's going to be ultra violent, very high intense pacing. And that's just from what I do know about from researching recently Moon Knight. I never paid attention to him before. But because I've been paying attention recently, it's been going a lot more obvious direction-wise to being a little bit of a median ground to what they learned from WandaVision and they learned from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, in my mind. And that's how much storyline needs to hit that intensity too in that first episode.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did in this first episode. They just did exactly what they did in Falcon. I agree, because you got to bring that intensity in terms of your action scenes and stuff, or just like something that's going to grab the attention, because I think that there's a lot of pieces, I hate to say this, but talk about DC, there's a lot of misses in their action scenes and stuff, in their films too. And just like the way they introduce it, or the way the action is done, Marvel does a fantastic job of that. And I think that with this, especially the end scene where he's beating up that werewolf, and actually I want to talk about that in a second. It's just like, it's just really cool because the way it's done, like the setup and everything, it was really cool. So I think that Marvel does a great job setting things up. But now with this Halloween special coming out, I know it was people are thinking it's Werewolf by Night. I know the Werewolf by Night's not in Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's a jackal.
Yeah. But my thing is that if they're going to take this aspect of the Werewolf by Night, is this going to connect to Moon Knight? Only because they're not naming it Werewolf by Night. It's going to be called something else now. But this is another way, in my opinion, I think you can keep this story of Moon Knight alive, not just in the special, but as far as like those darker stories. I think this brought that darkness to the story. There's a lot of dark themes in this, and I think they're going in that direction with the multiverse and stuff.
I mean, I can see that. To me, it's just, I've paid enough. At least I paid enough. I recognize the jackals being, those kinds of guards to the afterlife, to these, gods previously, that I didn't think it was a werewolf. A lot of people did, but at the same time, that was just That was just my background in it. And at the same time, I didn't want to see it though either. I did not want to see Werewolf by Night show up right here. I don't want new characters added in. This is about the new character being added. Focus on this character. Don't necessarily say to myself, like, and now I need Punisher, and now I need so-and-so, and now I need so-and-so. I'm tired of it. It's just like, it's the Omega Red and the Mephisto crap all over again. Everybody freaking out that it's going to be one of these things.
I know. So, it's like, Blade's going to show up, and this is like, just, can we just, and that's the thing. I'm with you on that, because we've learned our lessons already, right? From the first show. We're smart. We figure it out. So it's just kind of like, now that we know that we're not expected to see all these cameos, and again, if we see a cameo, it's going to be random, like at a random time, and it won't be rumored. Or, besides Hawkeye, everyone's talking about Yelena. That was kind of spoiled. But besides that, I think that we can see cameos. But again, that's not what this is about. This is about one character and his story, his or her story, and developing the personalities, I guess, in this situation, of making sure that he stays in the MCU. Because we talked about this last week, Bill. What happens to certain characters after they get, solo stories and they go to the Avengers? They kind of die out. So again, like, we got to figure out a way to see if Moon Knight is going to stick around in this universe for a while, and not be
I agree with that.
Not be like overshined by like great stories like Avengers, Infinity War, the comic book, or like Werewolf by Night, the comic book. So
I agree with that 100%. I think that this is going to be one of those kinds of series that focuses, at least in my opinion, too, because it's Oscar freaking Isaac. Okay, this isn't some run-of-the-mill whatever kind of character. This is Oscar Isaac. This is somebody that's doing some major work right now. They're not just going to throw random ass, unless it's other established characters in there, because they don't want to take away from him. This is his show. This isn't Moon Knight and so going to get their own spinoff later. This is Moon Knight, and he's having to play enough different characters in this show already. He doesn't need to share that screen time with anybody else. We need to establish all of his personalities. So in my mind, if we do get somebody, it is an established person. It's somebody we already know exists. And like, if it were for me, if it were something that I would want something like either because we had talked about this before, we know that the Eternals trained Kang in ancient Egypt. If we get like a throwback, like a flashback kind of thing, and we see somebody from the Eternals and the guy that plays Kang in a scene, I wouldn't be shocked. I would love that. So much vindication for us in that. There'd be so much vindication in that for us. But that to me is still a long shot. To me, I think we could get a Kwong. I think we could get one of the Sons of Midnight to show up. That would be interesting. And to be honest, the only ones that are really established are technically Blade in current canon. But we could also get a Doctor Strange-like character. But that's why I think Kwong might have a little bit more help in that manner. Plus, I really like his character, and I like what they've also been doing with having him potentially show up in She-Hulk. Some people want Punisher with John Blumenthal, and that's a big rumor right now, but I don't see it, or maybe I just don't want it, because if I got anybody from the Daredevil universe, I'm glad we got Matt. I'm glad we got Kingpin. I would really like Jessica Jones. I think that there could have been some other better hits in there, but I think Punisher was more missed than hit on the regular. John Blumenthal did a great job, but I don't have to have Punisher right now. I feel like Moon Knight can be enough of a Punisher in this version of the MCU for a little while, that we don't need to add a John Blumenthal too. But that's just me.
No, I'm with you on that, because here again, I want to see the slow development of if they do a possible Midnight Suns, which I'm sure Marvel is getting to that point, because we are going to start seeing some more villains. We are going to start seeing some more vigilantes, We are seeing these team ups. We're going to get a champions team. We're going to get a Young Avengers, all that. But if Moon Knight can, like you said, if they had some parts where like Kane showed they did like a throwback, real quick to just one part that happened in Eternals that we missed. I mean, that could be an important piece, but again, if it drives the story to where eyes are now like on like Kang, then that's wrong, because that's not what it's about. So if Marvel does, find a way to succeed with this Moon Knight, and if they do whatever they want after this with him, do it. I think we need a Midnight Suns. I think that is because from all those old Ghost Rider movies and stuff. I'm not saying they're bad, but we need to see that. So
yeah, in my opinion, the Midnight Suns are the next Avengers. I think that they would be fantastic. I think we're going to get a Champions, because even Feige said like there's not going to be more Avengers. Like the Avengers are done. It's time to start working on other things. I think Sons of Midnight would be huge. Oscar Isaac has talked about it, and it was in the same kind of context that we had when Liz started talking about what became WandaVision, where Wanda broke and she lost everything and she lost her mind and she went into a super dark place, and she goes, that's just probably too dark for Marvel. That'd be crazy, but that would be like my ultimate whatever kind of story to tell. And they asked Oscar Isaac the same kind of thing. It's like, man, I'd love to do I would love to do a Sons of Midnight line. And we know that they are actively talking about casting Ghost Rider. We know that that's been major conversations have been going on between Keanu Reeves and the guy that played Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead. Those have been two highly rumored different characters to perhaps either be the ones that start and hand it off to somebody. I mean, I think that Ghost Rider was fantastic in S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., better than the Nick Cage version, but whatever. If he's there, he's there. But I would love to see Sons of Midnight so much. Not minus the Morbius that we just had. Please minus the Morbius we just had. Or
yeah, we are
bring that up, or people are gonna hear me go off.
Hey, I'm gonna see a bunch of reels tonight on Instagram. Just gonna be just talking Morbius. Morbius.
I did. I did, and I couldn't help myself. It was just so bad. I'm just like, I'm usually a positive person, but this is the worst.
Well,
this is the worst.
Hey man, like that's how I feel about Fantastic Four 2015. I was just like, I wanted to throw up. It was that bad.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
the sequel with Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
that was rough. But I have hope. Now that there is a better people at the helm than Fox, because I mean we can blame Fox for the poor ending to the X-Men. We can blame Fox for the Fantastic Four, and now we can just blame Sony constantly for horrible management of the Spider side of things. I'm really hopeful that the movies kind of just keep tanking. That's why I was upset with Venom. Right, Venom was still a bad movie, but it did really great money-wise. So I was just kind of like, oh, dang it. But then came, Let There Be Carnage. And I was just like, all right, that's a nail in a coffin right there. And then I watched Morbius, and that was the whole damn coffin. I mean, you didn't even need a nail. That thing's already dead and buried. That was the worst trap. Anyways, so I am concerned about the future for Miles still being in a Sony property area. But I am hopeful that things like this are just going to keep on like hemorrhaging Sony money. Like if they lose with Kraven the Hunter 2, then their Sinister Six dreams go down the tubes, and then they really have to rethink what they could possibly do anymore without those characters, because they're just not working. That being the case, it might just make more fiscal sense to sell the property back.
I say give up the rights. I say give it up, because we were talking about this offline. Just make it easier on yourselves. If you guys can do animated stuff, because Spider-Verse was a success, but other than that, I think you guys need to keep your hands off of the live action.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone. What's up, Kingdom? Yeah, I leave them alone, especially Miles, especially Gwen. Going forward, we know what they've already been doing with the rest of the side of things. And the last Spider-Man movie was great, but that was also because it was in conjunction with Marvel Studios. They had a lot of that control. It wasn't just the run-of-the-mill Sony situation. which what we see what's happening when Sony's left in charge. So, I'm hoping for the best, which is them getting the property back. Some people are kind of ignorant though about Sony too, and they're just like, "Oh, Disney will just buy Sony. Disney could maybe buy Sony Pictures, but ain't nobody just buying Sony."
Yeah, you just go.
People need to forget Sony makes like most of the we use in this world. So I mean, Sony's just not Sony just doesn't make PlayStations, y'all. So at the end of the day, they've got a lot more stock going for themselves than just that side of things. And I can see them going like a Fox route where they sell a Sony Pictures or something to that effect. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, to have people go like, Disney should just buy Sony. Sorry, that ain't going to work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. I mean, it's good as
check it out, Kingdom.
But, again, it's a matter of what Marvel can do if they want to do certain stuff, even with MoonKnight, like throw in certain characters and stuff. But like, Sony has to just stop being selfish in some ways, I guess, whatever the situation is, and just realize that what they're doing is not successful. That Disney needs to take the wheel, but you guys can still do other things on the side. It doesn't mean that you guys are a bad company. It just means just for this specific topic. Which is
sign some exclusive contracts for their video games with them, because I mean Sony's been doing some great put out of different exclusive character content, right? So maybe give Marvel, maybe Marvel will say like, you know what, our new Marvel video games that come out with characters, as far as things go, they will be exclusive to Sony, because I mean right now that's what Sony and Xbox, they're like trying to kill each other when it comes to buying every subgroup that they can to have exclusives for their own things. Maybe this would be a great thing to dangle in front of their face. Like, look, you get every Marvel, and you know what? Goddamn, we'll throw in Star Wars too. Like, we'll give you the video games exclusively for the PlayStation. Just give us back Spider-Man. Because with that, creating some kind of partnership like that, Disney's not in on any video game situation right now. I mean, if they tried to, what would be the best thing they could get in on? Is like a freaking Nintendo. And not that Nintendo's small either, not that Nintendo's a problem, but that would just be still a hard get to jump into from film right now. So in my mind, I think that they would have a nice little alliance for themselves if they dangled something like that in a business deal.
Man, just give up the rights and focus, because you brought up a good point, just with games and stuff. I say just make games at this point, because you have enough money to invest in it and all that, but what more can we say, because I'm just tired of just these companies thinking that what they're doing is successful and not realizing like what is not successful. And It's like Sony for so long has been doing this, for decades, and it's like
you think they'd be better at it by now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you think they would figure it out by X-Men 3, but I mean, I guess they had enough money. Like, okay, well, we're gonna keep doing it. So,
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I don't really have too much other to say other than MoonKnight. I thought it was a great episode. I want to talk more about Ethan Hawke and see more of his role next time. But I mean, that was.
I think we have to see the next episode to really kind of get more than that. It's become so much to do in each of these episodes that right now in our first episode, I can just say that it's been a great start. It's been fun. I love Ethan Hawke from a long time. I've loved Ethan Hawke since The Explorers. If you've seen The Explorers, you know what I'm talking about. His first foray into space. Love that. I'm a big fan of, obviously, Oscar Isaac. But for me to say that it's going to be outweighing some of the other shows you and I have watched, like I ended up getting blown away by Loki almost every single episode except that one. It's just like, because I remember getting on the line with you first, like, I don't know, man, maybe we shouldn't do this show. I hated that episode. Like, I don't like going negative, but I'm going to be negative. I didn't like that episode. And I didn't feel that way for a first episode with this. I know some people want more, and I get that. I've never been a huge Moonlight guy. I've never actually. I've only seen him as another character in other things I'm buying. I never went independently after him, so I didn't have a lot of expectations to be let down in this first episode. I was just looking at this purely entertainment, purely Disney. And I did like that they took more of an adult edge with it. I loved seeing the old lady Moth as he was driving by. You know, that was great as he's going around. You're like, I'm sorry. And she's just like, nah. You know, I love that. Give me more of that. What's up, Comic Bros? What's up, Coffee and Comic? How's it going, guys?
How y'all doing?
But yeah, I enjoyed the first episode. It was a lot of fun. It could have been more. But that's also because I'm interested in it, right? That's the thing. Like that's the problem with a good show is when every single one of these episodes ends, you feel like you get cheated. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing because that means you're vested and you're more interested in the story to come. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself too, is I'm waiting for more. Like, boy, WandaVision was the worst at that because every single time an episode would end, you just be like, so wait, I just watched a runoff of I Love Lucy. That was it. That was, and like, okay, little clue A, clue B, and everybody's just like Mephisto, and I'm trying not to do that. But yeah, it's hard.
It is. No, I get it, man. It's one of those things where it's like we're so excited because WandaVision was the first show to ever come out, and we didn't know what to expect. And we thought we were going to see a bunch of cameos, but then we learned, like, no, that's not the case. And again, like I said, it's fine. It's just that going forward, we got to just not expect so much. Even if these rumors are going around, we just got to really sit back and just watch and listen to and go back to these other Marvel movies and then maybe bring up some rumors because there's some pieces in these older like Marvel TV shows and films that we are still missing that someone said in these newer shows. So
I would like it to be Daredevil. If somebody gets to magically appear right now if it's not Kwong, my two picks would be Kwong or Matt Murdock showing up in Moon Knight. That would be cool to me because I know people want. I know Coffee and a Comic's gonna be like, but I want Punisher like everybody else, and I get that, but I feel like he needs an introduction on something else because he is a very robust and needs more attention kind of character as opposed to how established Matt already is by showing up in Spider-Man, things of that nature. We know that history. We know Daredevil's getting a show that's been greenlit again as well. I don't feel like Punisher would be the right person, but I think Daredevil could. I think Daredevil could be that dude.
Yeah, honestly, if it came down to it, I think it would either be Matt or probably Eric. So I think either Blade or Daredevil because it's just those two are officially in the MCU. So if Moon Knight and Blade are just come so close with continuity and connection.
Oh yeah.
So that would make sense. It's just, but am I expecting that? No, because it's not what it's about. But it would be nice to see just a quick look at Blade for what we're going to see in the future in his in the upcoming film. Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so absolutely. Well, everybody, I think if you want to, we're going to do a reaction now to the promo trailer over on YouTube. If you want to join us over there, link in bio. But I think we may have to cut over there to wrap up this episode, bro. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're trying something new. We're actually trying to do this on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. So it is a lot more complicated, and I'm not sure if we're doing it right yet, but hopefully if we are, you guys enjoyed it, let us know. This is new. We're trying something new here. So hang in there. We're going to be trying it on Fridays for a little while.
Yeah, so every Friday, y'all, we're gonna be doing our show. But again, we'll be on Instagram and YouTube. We're kind of just going with the flow right now. Make sure y'all follow One True Nerd King on YouTube and Instagram for those who have just joined in. And same thing with me, YouTube, Instagram, Hero Harrison Talk. Make sure you guys subscribe. But yeah, we're gonna end this show on YouTube, so make sure you guys jump on over there and come hang out with us to watch this next trailer for the next episode.
All right. See you guys there.
Cool. Peace.
All right. So that being the case,
All right.
let me go ahead and cue up the screen share. And let's see what we see here. And let me know if you can hear it. If you can't, let me know.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
You can't?
That's so weird.
Nope. Well, darn it. Let's see here what we've got.
No problem.
And it looks like it might be getting blocked. That might be it. We might have to load this and watch it later.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
no.
I think it's getting blocked. It's YouTube blocking it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that way we can't go doing things like that. Darn it, YouTube. All right. Well, we'll get those things loaded and we'll do a react for it later. But yeah, I thank you for everybody who really kind of came and hung out tonight. Sincerely appreciate it. We were trying it. Hey, she. Yeah, darn Disney. You are the only one in the chat. We had a few people in here earlier, but we're both pretty new to YouTube. We're a little bit more established on Instagram, so we tried to do both, but I feel like we were kind of underserving both audiences at the same time. So we're going to try and find a good hybrid for it in the future, maybe bouncing back and forth. But yeah, so this was our first foray into Kings and Heroes and trying our new little thing over here on Friday nights for starting off with MoonKnight. And then we're going to have Kenobi, and then we're going to have Ms. Marvel, and we've got movies coming out. We have no shortage of TV and movies to talk about, so it's going to be ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous. We have too much content coming out, and from now on till here, it's going to be every week. Something is going to be new at Kings and Heroes. We'll keep you guys updated. We're working on a logo right now. We're still going to get our YouTube stuff together and all of our social media platforms all right. So you guys just make sure for right now to stay updated on just news and all that good stuff because we got so much stuff coming out.
And you'll have to join us sometime. If you and Harrison haven't met, she's pretty much, if you don't exist on YouTube if she's not watching your show. It's just the way it is. Oh, and Sheena, there we go. Yep. So we've got both of the two people that are almost always the most diligent about actually coming and always hanging out on YouTube. So if you haven't met my friend Harrison here yet, give him a follow. Hero Harrison on YouTube as well, and also Hero Harrison on Instagram. But we're going to be doing this on Fridays. We're going to be doing a TV show, movie kind of synopsis. We're going to really kind of stick our heads in that area. And if either of you ladies would ever like to come on and join us, it's going to be an open invitation because we always love guests too. It always makes it a lot of fun.
Absolutely. That's what's the best part about this is building the community and having fun and nerding out about this stuff. I just can't wait for these other shows to get more organized and these shows to get going. So it's going to be so much fun. Yeah,
we're just starting out. So thanks for your patience with us. Like I said, we tried something a little bit new tonight. We might kind of bounce around with it for a while, but we'll get the hang of it. And we'll be back next Friday to talk about episode 2. So yeah. We're going to cross our fingers. It's going to be great.
It's going to be so much fun. We're going to see y'all next week, same time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time over here. And then we are going to be just doing this until we got 6 episodes, right?
Yes. So we got 5 more to go. And by that time, then Kenobi's coming out right after that, right on the heels of that. And so, I mean, we won't be missing anything for a while. This will be pretty much it for a bit. And yes, I've got to watch. Have you seen episode 2 of Halo yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I liked the first episode. I liked the first one. I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
I haven't seen it either. But that first episode, it really shocked me how good it was.
Okay, so I'm going to admit I have not played an Xbox. I have not played Halo. From what I have heard, Halo fans are a little upset with it. They feel a little underserved. They wanted their team red, team blue, things of that nature. But I really enjoyed the first episode. And that's just from a sci-fi action standpoint fan. I was there for it. So I'm interested to see episode 2. She the Geek saying, No, second one was dry. Well, I don't care. I'm gonna try. After all the disappointment I had in Morbius today, I have to end today on some kind of good note. All right, or I may just give up on film in general. So I need something good. I need something to be happy about right now. Don't take it from me.
You can go on Netflix and definitely find something way better than what you just watched.
I could watch Green Lantern 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12. Greenlight more of those. Give me Daredevil again with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner as Elektra. Give me anything but that movie ever again. That was so hard, man. It was so bad.
Let me ask you this. This is the last question. I'm going to ask you this. How many times did you cringe? Because that lets me know how bad it was.
Oh, I cringed at least 7 or 8 times.
Oh, yep. Okay.
That was just in the post-credit scenes.
Oh, okay.
That was just in the post-credit scenes. Those were the worst post-credit scenes I have ever seen in my entire life. And SheGeek, I should send an email to Sony and ask for my money back. I mean, I should. I just bought one of their PlayStations, right? Does that count? Does that mean kind of like, hey, like, can you at least give me a free game out of it or something? Because, that was, 17% on Rotten Tomatoes is generous. I would have given it like a 5 or a 6. Yeesh. I'll be honest. Like it was rough. And I was like me and my daughter were the 2 of the 6 people in that entire theater. So word is out. During spring break in my state, word is out. It's not looking good because I've never been so disappointed in a movie. And if anybody wants to know about the post credits, I will not spoil them. Maybe I'll do that in a separate thing later, but I've just got nothing but questions. It's crazy. So yeah. Spoilers next week. Spoilers ahead next week. I will get into all the ugly details of how much I dislike that movie, broken down piece by piece. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and enjoy Halo. I'm going to turn it on the TV where all that weird psychedelic shit's going on right now. I'm going to watch some Halo. I'm going to play some video games. And I'm going to go onto Instagram and watch all my friends and what you guys are posting on there right now, too. So,
sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds like it's a good Friday night for, guys like me that don't do anything. So,
Same here. I don't do too much, man.
Well, man, thank you so much for this. Number one, we've had the pleasure of hanging out pretty much since Disney Plus started doing their thing with Marvel shows. And, I'm number one appreciative that, you're just like still hanging out with me because that says something about your character. And it says something probably about like how low your standards are as a friend, but I really appreciate it. And, thank you for hanging out tonight. Everybody else that did come on here tonight or catches this on the rewind, really appreciate it. Just starting out here. We're both just starting out here on Instagram, on YouTube, and all the other platforms that we're on. That's really it. We met on Instagram. That's where we kind of took things, and we're really trying to expand our horizons by jumping onto other platforms. So we appreciate every person here that, hangs out with us whenever you do.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see everyone back next week. We'll do some more promoting this week and keep you guys.
Get our logos set.
Yeah, right. And we just have a lot of content. We just got too much going on. So just make sure to stay tuned. And it's always fun being here. I'm glad we're doing this going forward. And I cannot wait to talk about the next episode. And
absolutely.
I cannot wait to talk about our first film too. That's gonna be fun. So
that will be, and it won't be Morbius. It'll be something else. It'll be something good. Let's do Multiverse of Madness. Mom is it. Let's
start off on a good note.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Peace, y'all. Hings and Kira.